The afternoon sun burned like a furnace over the wide, empty desert. The air shimmered with heat, and dust clouds danced across the horizon. A single rider tore through that endless wasteland, a young woman, her long dress tattered, her hair tangled by the wind, clutching a frightened little boy to her chest as her horse galloped for dear life. Behind her came the thunder of hooves, 4 outlaws in black dusters, rifles in hand, their cruel laughter echoing off the canyons. Each heartbeat was a prayer. Each breath was a struggle between life and death. The woman's name was Elena Carter, a rancher's widow who'd once known peace on a small patch of land she and her late husband had built with their bare hands. That peace had died a week ago when Rafe Cutter and his gang rode through her town, robbing, burning, and killing everything in sight. They'd taken her livestock, torched her barn, and shot her husband when he tried to stand between them and her. Elena had escaped only because her husband's dying words were "run," so she ran, clutching her 6-year-old son Samuel to her chest, not knowing where the desert ended or if she'd ever find safety again. Her horse stumbled once, nearly throwing them, but Elena held tight. Her throat was dry, her hands slick with sweat, her heart pounding so hard she thought she could hear it over the gunfire cracking behind her. A bullet whistled past her ear, grazing her hat. Another struck a rock ahead, exploding it into dust. "Come on, girl," she whispered to her horse, desperation in her voice. "Just a little farther. Please." But the mare was spent, stumbling more with each stride. The outlaws were closing in, shouting filthy threats that made her stomach twist. Rafe Cutter rode at the front, a cruel smile twisting his scarred face. "Ain't no use running, sweetheart," he yelled. "We'll catch you soon enough." Elena gritted her teeth, clutching her son tighter. "Don't look back," she whispered to him, tears streaming down her face. "Mama's got you. Just hold on." And then, through the haze of dust and fear, another sound joined the chase. A second rider coming from the west. His stallion was black as night, muscles rippling beneath the saddle. His hat brim was low, his long duster whipping behind him in the wind. He rode with purpose, not hesitation, like a man who'd seen this kind of danger before and wasn't about to let it happen again. His name was Colt McGraw, a quiet drifter known in some towns as a gunfighter, in others as a ghost of justice. He'd been tracking the Cutter gang for weeks, waiting for the right moment to strike. He hadn't expected that moment to arrive in the form of a mother and child running for their lives. When Colt saw the outlaws drawing their rifles toward the fleeing woman, he didn't think, he acted. He leaned forward, spurring his horse hard. The stallion bolted like a bullet across the plain, eating up the distance in seconds. Colt's eyes locked on the woman ahead, her terror clear, her strength fading. He reached into his saddlebag and drew his rifle, firing a warning shot that sang past Rafe Cutter's ear. "What the hell?" Rafe jerked in surprise, wheeling his horse. "Who's that?" But Colt didn't answer. He holstered his rifle, grabbed his reins, and rode straight into the line of fire. The outlaws aimed at him now, bullets slicing through the air. He ducked low, feeling one tear through his coat. The stallion didn't falter. When he reached Elena's side, Colt shouted, "Hold on!" Before she could even react, he leaned out of the saddle, one arm locking around her waist, the other grabbing the reins of her dying mare. With one fierce pull, he lifted her and the boy onto his horse in a single, fluid motion born of desperation and strength. Elena screamed in shock as she was hauled against his chest, her son clinging to her skirt. "Get down!" Colt growled, and she ducked as another bullet whined past them. The stallion surged forward, faster than the outlaws could keep up. Dust exploded behind them as they tore across the desert, weaving between boulders and cactus. Gunfire echoing like thunder. Elena clung to Colt, her heart pounding against his back. She'd never felt such fear and such safety at the same time. The man didn't say a word, didn't even glance back. His focus was pure steel, every muscle moving with the rhythm of the horse beneath him. After what felt like an eternity, the gunfire faded, the shouts grew distant, and silence returned to the desert. Colt slowed the horse near a rocky ravine and dismounted, keeping one hand on his revolver as he scanned the horizon. "They'll be back," he muttered. "They always come back." Elena tried to speak but could barely breathe. "Who are you?" she gasped. Colt turned slightly, his blue eyes calm but cold. "Name's McGraw. You can call me Colt." He offered her his canteen. "You hurt?" She shook her head, though her hands trembled. "My son." He's fine," Colt said, crouching beside the boy. "You're safe now, both of you. But we need to move. They'll circle around before nightfall." They climbed down into the ravine, hiding in the shadows beneath the rocks. Colt gathered dry twigs, lighting a small fire that barely smoked. Elena watched him, the flicker of flame lighting his scarred face. "You saved our lives," she whispered. He shrugged. "Wasn't gonna let Cutter do what he's done before. You ain't the first family he's burned out." That night, as Samuel slept, Elena told Colt her story, the ranch, her husband's death, the fire. Colt listened in silence, eyes dark with something like regret. "I know that kind of loss," he said finally. "Had a wife once. Cutter's men took her, same way. Been hunting him ever since." His voice was low, filled with pain that time hadn't dulled. Elena's eyes softened. "Then maybe fate sent you," she said quietly. Colt gave a small, humorless smile. "Maybe, or maybe, I just don't know how to stop fighting." He tossed another stick into the fire. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we end this." Elena lay awake long after that, staring at the stars. The wind whispered through the canyon, carrying the faint cry of coyotes. For the first time in days, she wasn't alone. But she also knew the dawn would bring blood. The first light of dawn crept across the desert, painting the sand in gold and crimson. Colt was already saddling the horse when Elena woke. "Where are you going?" she asked, fear sharp in her voice. He looked up, calm and steady. "To finish this. Cutter's gang won't stop till one of us is dead." She stood, clutching Samuel's hand. "You can't go alone." Colt met her eyes. "You've got a boy to raise, Mom. I've got a score to settle." But Eleanor wouldn't stay behind. "You saved my life, Colt McGraw. If this ends today, it ends for both of us." Colt hesitated, then gave a slow nod. "All right, stay close. Do exactly what I say." They rode toward the high cliffs where Colt knew Cutter would come looking. The air was heavy, the silence thick with tension. When they reached the ridge, Colt dismounted, scanning the horizon with narrowed eyes. "They'll come through that pass," he said. "We'll use the rocks for cover." He handed Elena a revolver. "Ever shot one before?" She shook her head. "Then today's a good day to learn." Moments later, dust rose on the horizon. 5 riders this time. Cutter rode in front, his long coat flapping like a black flag. He spotted Colt and grinned. "Well, well, the ghost himself. Didn't think you had the guts to face me again." Colt stepped out from behind the rocks, rifle leveled. "You talk too much, Cutter." The air exploded with gunfire. Colt fired first, dropping one outlaw clean off his horse. The rest scattered, taking cover behind the rocks. Elena pulled Samuel behind her, heart pounding, and aimed the revolver the way Colt had shown her. When one outlaw tried to flank them, she squeezed the trigger. The gun kicked hard, the shot went wild, but her second one hit home. The man fell, clutching his chest. Cutter roared in fury. "You'll pay for that!" He charged forward, firing. Colt ducked, the bullet grazing his shoulder. Blood spattered his sleeve, but he didn't stop. He fired again, his shot slamming into Cutter's gun hand. The outlaw screamed, dropping his weapon. "This is for my wife," Colt said coldly. He took one final shot, and Cutter fell, his body crumpling in the dust. Silence settled over the canyon. The echo of gunfire faded into the wind. Elena lowered the revolver, shaking. Colt staggered slightly, gripping his bleeding arm. She ran to him. "You're hurt." He smiled faintly. "Had worse." He looked at the horizon, where the sun was rising, burning bright and gold. "It's over now." Elena gazed at him with gratitude beyond words. "You saved us, Colt. Twice now." He met her eyes, his expression soft for the first time. "Maybe you saved me too." He glanced down at Samuel. who was clutching his mother's hand. "You take that boy somewhere good, somewhere safe." As she helped him onto his horse, she asked quietly, "What will you do now?" Colt looked toward the open plains. "Keep riding," he said. "World's still got too many men like Cutter. Someone's got to keep the dust stirred." And with that he tipped his hat and rode away into the sunrise, his silhouette fading into the golden light, a lone cowboy leaving behind redemption written in gunsmoke and courage.